Today, we are pleased to invite our SHF Senior Physiotherapist, Mr. Arun. He will be sharing with us on the importance of weight management and more. Without further ado, I will hand over the time to Mr. Arun now. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Don. Let me share my screen. Okay, hi everyone. I'm Arun, Senior Physiotherapist, Singapore Heart Foundation. Participants, can you please mute your side? Okay, hi everyone. This is Arun, Senior Physiotherapist, Singapore Heart Foundation. I am here today to talk about the science behind the weight loss and the importance of exercise. Okay, now we go into the slides. Disclaimer, all information are generic recommended guidelines for overweight, obese individuals. Individuals with known cardiovascular diseases, orthopedic and other medical problems are advised to seek medical clearance before participating in any moderate and vigorous exercise. Okay, why we need to talk about this obesity and overweight? Because you can see the prevalence. The crude prevalence of obesity during this period, 2019 and 20, that is the latest one, which is obesity is about 10.5%, which is increased from 2013 to 2017. If you take like 4 out of 10 residents aged 18 to 74 were found to have abdominal obesity, which is really a problematic one. You can see this, the table, you can see the underweight, normal weight, and overweight, obese. So if you see the overweight, nearly 30% in total. Actually, this overweight they have taken. If you see this slide, you can see here in 1998, the adult side overweight is less than around 24%. You see here in 2019 and 20, you can it's nearly doubling. So it is really a threatening one, and you need to see the thing here is like this is a health promotion board's BMI, know your BMI, the brochure. If you see here, this is BMI of 23 and below. Actually, 23 and above is a moderate risk. Actually, what they have taken here is 25 and above, but that is for the overweight. So when we include this 23 and above BMI, this percentage still will more. So which means like nearly maybe 50% of our population will fall into that category. So which is that's why we are talking about the obesity and overweight today. Okay, evaluation 2 times. Okay, you can see we change from the stairs to the lift, we walking, cycling to the bus, car, train, and our technology size decreases, but our size increased. But is it true? Is it true? Like, is it because of and olden days, actually, people are very healthy and they are slim. And in the new period now, like because we are sophisticated systems, because of that we are like obese. But science says that's not true. This is the 25,000 BC before Christ, which is very, very long before. Even that time, obesity exists. So it's not a new to us. So whenever like human being is there, the obesity also there. So what we need to do? So is it like exercise which reduce the weight? That is what we are going to see now. Our exercise we do to make our body like, shape. So we see how it goes, but actually that is not the reason why we need to do the exercise. If you have obesity, you can see the medical complication of obesity. You see how many diseases it's affecting all the systems in our body, not just only one system. So when our weight increases, then the average level, all the systems get burdened. So that's the importance of like the obesity, then how we need to reduce the weight. You can see here metabolic syndrome. why we are talking about the metabolic syndrome when we talk about the obesity? Actually, then obesity along with two other conditions, which like included three conditions in the metabolic syndrome, which causes a very important scenario is like the risk factor for the CVD. So when metabolic syndrome can doubles the risk for the development of CVD and the stroke. That means cardiovascular disease risk and the stroke. So if normal person without the metabolic syndrome, if he has a 10% of risk to develop cardiovascular disease, when you have a metabolic syndrome, it will be a 20%. So it's doubles. So which is really a like important one. So what is the weight management secret? Always what the book says is, so how much calories in and calories out, how much we eat, how much activities we do. So which if it is balanced, then your weight will be maintained. If your calorie increase is more, then your calories out is more, then you get the weight loss. But is it that easy? Is it that easy? Like just you reduce your calorie and increase your activity, then you can lose your weight. Is it how it works? But that's not so. So if you see here, there are many factors which causes your body weight to increase. So your lifestyle, your medical conditions, for example, if you have hormonal issues, for example, thyroid. So thyroid issues comes. So this hormone also will affect your weight. Like medications, if you take steroids, so steroids will affect your weight. And dieting history, it's not just today or this month how much you eat. It's about like how long, like how many years you are eating, like what kind of dietary practice you are taking, and your activity level. Psychology, of course, like there are studies which stating that those who have depression, like higher chances to gain weight, and your diet, of course. So this lot of factors contributing weight. We cannot like just like not like that simple as okay, you reduce your diet and do your exercise, your weight will reduce. No, it's not that easy to reduce the weight. So that's why we need to know the science behind the weight. Okay, I actually got one question. One question from our participant stating that when age goes, our weight will increase or not. Actually, unfortunately, actually when your age goes up, definitely your weight also will increase. There is a chance, maybe not only weight, the body fat. You can see here basal metabolism, that means basal metabolic rate, which is how much your body burn the energy. This rate will decrease when it goes. You can see the yellow bar. You see here, so how much it decreasing. So when age goes around 65, it's nearly like more than half, it's decreasing. So the basal metabolic rate reduces which means your burning capacity will decrease. What it causes, it gains the weight. And if physical activity, of course, when age goes up, then our activity will reduce. So that's also another reason. So that's why your body fat is increasing. So, but it doesn't mean that like, okay, when age goes, my body weight definitely goes up, so I just eat. No. It's not like that. Like we need to like take action, change our lifestyle according to that so that we can maintain our weight. Okay, although genetic factors play a larger role, heritability is not a destiny. Studies show that lifestyle changes can promote as much as weight loss as most efficacious pharmaceutical agents available. So it's how you change your lifestyle. It's not like heredity. Yes, heredity play a part in weight management, but it doesn't like a destiny. You can change it. Okay, what are all the benefits of exercises? We have a weight loss benefit, health benefit, and psychological. But if you take out 9 to 10% of in body weight, decrease in body weight can be achieved by combined reduction in energy intake with increases in energy expenditure through exercise. So it's a combination. We can reduce 9 to 10%. And somebody will ask, is it only 9 to 10% I can reduce? But sadly, yes, you can reduce only 9 to 10%. I mean, in a short term means within like 6 months to 1 year. So why I cannot reduce more? If you reduce more than this, it's possible, like, you don't intake at all, then you can reduce. When you do like that, what is going to happen is it will affect your health. So you may lose your lean body mass. Later we will discuss about it, why we shouldn't drastically reduce your weight. And weight loss of 5 to 10% provides significant health benefits. This is an important factor. So we will come to this later also. Physical activity alone appears to have little impact on the magnitude of weight loss. Thus, combination of physical activity and modest reduction in energy intakes is necessary to maximize weight loss. Of course, it's a combination. One of the person is asking, diet is very important, like to reduce weight. I would say it's not just diet, it's a combination. Still, exercise appears to be important for sustaining significant. And exercise appears to preserve muscle mass compared with diet alone. Yeah, one of the person's question is like, when we do exercise, then my muscle bulk will increase. Then again, I will increase my weight. But this one I will answer in the strengthening part. So actually, when you do exercise along with the diet, it will preserve your muscle mass. Suppose if you do diet alone, what happens is you lose the fat-free mass, which is your muscle. So if you lose muscle, what is going to happen is you may get injury. Like for example, you want to run or you want to like walk or you start climbing. So in this time, we need the muscle strength. Like when you lose the muscle strength, you have higher chances to get the injury. That's why we do like taking diet and exercise combination to reduce the weight. Okay, control of hypertension. In theory, 5 to 7 mm of mercury of like BP can be reduced by reducing your by doing exercise. Control of high cholesterol. Exercise doesn't directly reduce the LDL level, but it reduces the triglyceride level. So which is one of the bad cholesterol. And increase the good cholesterol level. So the combination is the important thing. We would say HDL LDL ratio, right? When HDL ratio is increasing, it reduces the cardiovascular disease risk. Then diabetes. What happens when you do exercise? Like those who have diabetes, exercise causes lowering the daily medication dose for diabetes and increase the insulin sensitivity. You might have seen the diabetic people. They're increasing their the insulin unit. Like if they are taking insulin initially 5 unit, 10 unit, then after 10 years it will be 15 unit and 15 unit twice. So so this is what going to happen when you have diabetes and without doing exercise. But actually, when you do the exercise, this insulin sensitivity will increase. What happens is because of that, you no need to increase the medication like so fast. And exercise training improves your functional capacity and promote increased performance of activities of daily life. And psychological effect. Exercise can reduce the anxiety and depression and improves the quality of life. Just now I told about the depression, right? The depression causes the increase in weight also. So exercise, when you do, it reduces the depression in a way like it reduces the weight also. So now the important question, how much exercise should I do? How much weight should I reduce? So this is what generally we all have the question, right? So we will see the answer. This article states that benefit of modest weight loss in improving cardiovascular risk factors in overweight and obese individuals with diabetes, with type 2 diabetes. If you see here, only 5 to 10% of initial weight loss are sufficient to produce a significant clinically relevant improvement in cardiovascular disease risk factors in overweight and obese individual with type 2 diabetes. If you see here, if you are 70 kg, right, 5% is only 3.5 kg. It's not necessary. You need to lose like 10 kg, 20 kg of weight to get the health benefits. It's very minimal. So 5 to 10%, if your weight reduced, definitely you get the health benefits. That's the important thing. Sometimes we are losing hope because we don't get the weight loss. Okay, I do exercise, maybe 1 kg only reduced for 6 months. 1 year I'm doing it like only 2 kgs. But the health benefits already you are getting it. That's an important factor. You can see here this graph. Every kg of weight loss was associated with 16% reduction in the risk of risk for progression for type 2 diabetes. So this one you see 1 kg, just 1 kg if you reduce, like your development for the diabetes is 16%, the risk is reduced. So which means even just 1 kg, if 2 kg, 32%. So that's how it works. So it is important even 1 kg or 2 kg of weight losing. Okay, fact, regardless of body weight or weight loss, an increased level of exercise increases the health. So whether you reduce your weight or the weight is still maintained at the same level or slightly even increased, but increased level of exercise definitely increases the health. Exercise offers a way to mitigate the health damaging effects of obesity even without the weight loss. Physical activity or exercise in a sufficient dose aids in long-term weight maintenance. So you can see this table, you can see only 2.5% weight loss, right? It improves the diabetes, 2.5 to 15% also improve the glycemic control. Triglyceride reduction is 2.5% only. HDL increase in 5% of weight loss. Even knee pain, you see 5 to 10% improves. That means 5 to 10% of weight loss improves the knee functionality, speed, walk distance, and pain. So it's not a very large amount of weight loss we expect. It's just like 5 to 10%. Okay, here comes the important question. Can I reduce my weight by just reducing my intake? Like in general, can I reduce my weight by taking just less food? Is it possible or not? Maybe you think, is it possible? Yes, of course, it is possible. If you just reduce your food, of course you will lose weight. But here are the problems. Almost all diets are unsuccessful. What do you mean? Like 50% of those who just but not exercise, they just reduce their diet and they want to reduce weight. I see some of my friends, they're reducing weight like 10 kg, 15 kg within 6 months or 3 months even. They don't take, sometimes they say different kind of diets and they say like only they drink fluids and they don't take carbs at all, and sometime morning it's just a juice like that. Like for within 2 months, 3 months, they really reduce like 10 kgs like that. But what happened? Like 15% regain all the weight within 2 years. So whoever go weight loss and just by doing the diet, then definitely they will regain the weight. 5 to 10% keep off permanently, but 5 to 10% is very low amount. They can keep, but maybe they may do the other things also along with the diet. But why do diets fail? If we see the cycling of diet, like initially you have a motivation. Okay, I need to reduce my weight. Then you get the positive result. Oh, okay. But after a while, you cannot complain with the diet. Then what happens is you maybe again gaining weight. Again, what do you do? Okay, I'm getting weight already. So again, you get the inspiration, but you go back to the same circle again. So it's a vicious cycle. Then it will go on. But you won't get the permanent solution from that. Okay, there are a lot of studies about the diet, but all the diet studies saying that within 2 years you will lose whatever you lose the weight, like you gain back. Okay, now here it comes to the exercise concept. So what exercise concept says? So we know FITT, right? Like frequency, intensity, time, and type. So we will see one by one. So what kind of exercises we need to do, and according to that, like how much frequency you need to do, how much intensity you need to do, how much duration, and what kind of exercise. Okay, this is the exercise routine. You need to have the warm up for any day. Anytime you want to start your exercise, you must do the warm up for 5 to 10 minutes. Then stretches, then exercise. It can be aerobic and resistance. Aerobic is endurance exercises, which is 20 to 60 minutes. Then resistance exercise, 15 to 20 minutes. Resistance exercise is strengthening exercise. Then your cool down, which is 5 to 10 minutes, and you can cool down stretches also you can do. But along with this, I'm going to tell you what are all the exercises you need to do. So one of the other questions they ask. One of our participants asked, I am doing 150 minutes of exercise, still I cannot reduce my weight. But you can see here, the weight loss, you need to do more than 250 minutes per week, which means roughly, I would say 50 minutes, 5 days, roughly 1 hour, 5 days, maybe 1 hour, 1 day you can take rest. So you want to reduce your weight, definitely your intensity should be moderate to vigorous intensity. Then with more than 250 minutes per week. Which means each day 1 hour, 5 days week at least you need to do. So it's not like 150 minutes, maybe 150 minutes is not enough for the weight loss. Okay, So how we are going to do the aerobic exercise? So the frequency, if you say 3 to 5 days per week, how long you need to do after warm up, 20 to 60 minutes of exercise, then plus cool down and stretches. So exercise intensity. So how hard I need to work? So you can see here 55 to 85% of heart rate reserve. So this one I will explain how you are going to calculate your heart rate reserve. Then your perceived exertion, which is the scale, I am going to show you that scale. In that scale, you need to have the 3 to 3.2. If it is a 10-point scale, then 3 to 5. If it is 20-point scale, it's 11 to 40. Then if you have optional equipment, heart rate monitor, you can have, so that like you can monitor your heart rate so that you know how exactly you are doing. Okay, this is the RPE scale. If you see here, so around 12 to 15, like somewhat too hard. Then modified box scale, which is the 10-point scale, 4 to 6. If you do this range, actually it's a right range to reduce your weight. But when you are doing this one, you need to understand this is just to do the weight loss. In case you have a background of cardiovascular disease and other medical condition, you need to reduce your intensity. Okay, what kind of aerobic exercise you can do? Is it high or low impact weight bearing or non-weight bearing exercises? So now it's a trend is doing the high intensity interval training, HIIT. Just one day I get the inspiration. Okay, and now onwards I need to do the exercise. What I will do, I will join this HIIT. And you go and you will do all the high impact exercises and like for 1 hour, 2 hours, weekly, twice, thrice, you have that enthusiasm for maybe 1 month, then you get all the problems come slowly. You get your knee pain, back pain and shoulder pain. So it's important, like you need to select what kind of exercise and you need to do it for a lifelong thing. It's not like just for, okay, I reduce my weight, then after that I'm going to stop my exercise, because your calorie expenditure is stopped somewhere, means then you are going to like gain the weight, because the expenditure is the first formula, the calories in and calories out, you are going to like get the weight back. So that's why you need to think about what exercise you are going to do. Okay, then comes to the strengthening exercise. You can do 2 or more days and with 48 hours interval, which means at least 1 day in between gap you need to have. So like if you are doing on Monday, Tuesday, you leave it, then you can go and do it on Wednesday. Because strengthening exercises needs like a rest for the muscles to like regain the strength back. And 8 to 10 exercise. What do you mean by 8 to 10 exercise? It's an upper body. You can have 4 or 5 components. Lower body, you can say 4 or 5 components. You don't like, sometimes I see people are doing only upper body exercises, because when you go to the gym, you will see all the upper body exercise. If you go like biceps and the shoulder pull, the shoulder press, bench press, and if you see the lower body exercise, even though lower body, our leg have the larger muscles, we need to work more on the lower body, but our equipment is very less. You see like leg extension, maybe leg press, that's it. Like not many equipment you have at the gym. So it's very important to combine these exercises. You cannot just do only the upper body activities more and lower body. It should be balanced. Another question they ask, right, when I do exercise, my muscle bulk will increase. Because of my muscle bulk increases, my weight also will increase. But the thing is, actually, muscle bulk increase is not that easy, and those who are the bodybuilders, they focus on their muscle building. For example, if they want their biceps to increase, they cannot just do 10 times 3 sets, then the muscle bulk will come. No, definitely not. For the muscle to come, they need to do a lot of repetition and increase their weights for a very long time. So it's a big process, and after that they eat more because they need the protein. So they get the maximum amount of exercise plus the diet supplement. That's why they gain the muscle bulk. Those who we do the normal strengthening exercise, I don't think we will gain that much muscle bulk immediately, and because of that, your body weight is going to increase. No, it's not that way. But the thing is, if you don't do the strengthening exercise and you do only aerobic exercise, which is cycling or running, or because one of my clients told me that I'm doing 1 hour every day, like walking, brisk walking, and in between a little bit jogging. So I asked, any other exercise you do? No, I do 5 days like that. 5 days if you are doing just like, like brisk walk and in between jogging 1 hour and no other exercise, what's going to happen? Yes, of course, you may have reduce your weight, but the thing is, your muscles is going to lose your fibers, muscle mass is going to decrease. What is going to happen because of that? Injury again. So that's why it's very important. You need to combine these exercises. You cannot just do only the aerobic exercises and you think that your body weight is decreasing. But when I do a strengthening exercise, my muscle, I gain the muscle back. So because of that, my body looks bigger. No, it's not the fact. Actually, if you combine these two, your body, the weight reduction is more effective and you don't get any injuries also. So it's very important to combine these two exercises. So if you are doing, for example, aerobic exercise and endurance exercises, you can do slightly higher endurance component when compared to the strengthening component, which already I stated before. Maybe 20 to 60 minutes of endurance exercise and like 15 to 30 minutes of strengthening exercise. So you can combine like slightly lower when compared to, because you are going to do 4 components for the upper body and 4 components for the lower body. It won't take much time, maybe 2 or 3 sets, right? So it won't take that much time. So you go and do like start with some endurance strengthening exercise, to get the warm up, then slowly you can do the strengthening exercise. Don't immediately just go and start with the strengthening exercises. In that time, like you have a higher chance to get injured. So you can see 8 to 10 exercise, 8 to 12 repetition, which is called 1 set. If you can do 2 sets, fine. 3 sets, also fine. You will get the benefit. 4 sets, 5 sets, no. What ACSM says is maximum 3 sets. So after you do 3 sets, you don't gain any of the benefits from that. So strengthening exercise, if you do maximum 3 sets, no point doing more than that. Okay, some example of the strengthening exercise. Okay, now exercise intensity based on the heart rate. So how this heart rate like works, like how I am going to monitor this heart rate. Okay, one thing is currently there are a lot of like equipment available to measure the heart rate. We are selling the Polar watch here, so we recommend some of the client about like buying this Polar watch, which is good because we can understand how much intensity they are doing it. But sometimes you need to understand all these heart rate monitors not 100% accurately measure your heart rate. So that is a very important thing you need to understand. Sometimes my clients, they come and say, oh, my heart rate is only this much, then I can push. But actually, it's not measuring the exact. When you have like kind of bit of irregularity in your heartbeats, maybe this one won't measure it properly. So you need to understand that. You need to understand your medical background also. That is the one thing. And other thing is, those who have the wrist watches, which is like don't have the chest band one. In general, without chest band, this only the wrist side watch, wrist measurement of heart rate is not that accurate also. So you need to gauge like which one is suitable to you, and you can buy that and then you can use that one. Okay, now this exercise intensity based on heart rate is mainly for the endurance exercise, not for the strengthening exercise, because strengthening exercise will not increase your heart rate so high. Only the endurance part will increase your exercise very high. Sorry, endurance exercise will increase your heart rate high. Okay, now you see the maximum heart rate. So how you calculate the maximum heart rate? Last time you might have heard from everybody saying that, okay, 220 minus age, right? You might have heard this one, right? 220 minus age, that's how we calculate the heart rate, the maximum heart rate. But nowadays, ACSM recommends 220 minus age is no longer like valid. They changed. So for the adults, this is one of the good formula to use it, which is 208 minus 0.7 times age. Okay, for example, if you are 50 years old, your heart rate max is 208 and 0.7 times 50, then it will be 173. Then how much percentage I need to work with. So if you are a beginner, you can start with 50% and slowly increase to 60, 70% and 80% like that. But you can understand how much is 50 or 60%. You can see here heart rate reserve is the maximum heart rate minus resting heart rate into percentage of intensity plus resting heart rate. So let's assume your resting heart rate is 80. If it is 60%, which means 173 minus 80 times 0.6 plus 80, it is 136. If it goes to 80%, which is 154. So you can use this formula. This is, again, I'm telling, this is for endurance training, not for strengthening training, for endurance training. Your heart rate must reach to certain level, so that then only your fat burning starts coming. Otherwise, like if your heart rate is not, because some, they say they go walk for 2 hours also, but then why their weight is not reducing? Because the heart rate is not increasing. When your heart rate increases, then your energy expenditure more and it burn the fat. So that's the important thing. So you need to be careful when you are doing exercise. You cannot be like doing at the low intensity and expecting results immediately. That's also important thing. And I don't tell you like you need to go and do immediately 80% of your heart rate reserve, right, which is 154 for example this kind. But that also not works. Then only your injury comes. So you need to start with the 50%, 60%, slowly increase to your 80%. Okay, lifestyle activity. So what we can do, 30 minutes of sitting burns 25 kilocalories versus 30 minutes of walking burns 3 times as much. Just now I received another question which says that why desk-bound job increases your weight. It's obvious. Like you can see here in sitting, it burns only 25 kilocalories, but in walking definitely burns much. But then they may ask, oh, my job is desk-bound, then what can I do? So you need to find a way. Later I tell you what is the interval training. So in between, when you have a lunchtime or before you start your work, you can start your exercises. So later we will discuss about it. And whatever you do, right, you should have a structured exercise program with you. So otherwise, like, you cannot replace like doing other things which is compensate your structured exercise program. No, because somebody used to tell, hey, every day I walk, when doing my work, I go there and like I walk, but why I'm not reducing it? It's not only like what you do every day, but you need to have a certain structured program for yourself. Because when you are doing whatever you are doing during work, maybe you think it's high, maybe because of the work stress, because of doing other things, you think that I'm spending more calories, but actually maybe it's very less. We don't know how much you are really spending. So that's why we should have structured exercise program to reduce your weight. Then your pedometer, it's good to have, so that like at least you can do the 10,000 steps per day. Actually, that's why government also encouraging and giving you the pedometer. Okay, how to start? Okay, if you are totally sedentary, you never do exercise, so you start with just a brisk walk of 55% of heart rate reserve, 20 minutes each time, like 3 days a week. And each session you can break into 2 10 minutes interval, and 10 minutes then you can take interval. This is the easiest way. Don't just immediately just jump into the high intensity activities. Then you cannot like do it for longer. Exercise always must be like for longer period of time. It cannot be like just for time period. So already those who are active, those who are active, increase the duration or frequency first. Finally, you increase the intensity. So we always tell you, anyone you want to progress, you progress, but you increase your frequency. For example, I'm doing it 3 times a week. Maybe you increase to 4 times a week. Or your duration, I'm doing it like 1 hour. Maybe you can try 1 hour 50 minutes or 1 hour 30 minutes. Slowly you increase that intensity, because when you increase intensity, that's where like injuries comes. So just now I talked about this. You can see here, all 3 components should not increase at once. Suddenly you want to like increase. Okay, till now I do once or twice a week my exercise. Then suddenly I want to increase to like 7 days a week. My intensity is going to be very high, like 85%. Time every day I do 2 hours. So this kind of things definitely you should avoid, because definitely you will not succeed with this. You will get injury and slowly you will stop doing exercise. Okay, you can have an exercise diary with you so that you can write it down what I'm doing on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, because we are planning. When you want to go to tour or when you want to like, okay, I want to go eat next month, you plan, you book the hotel or you book the restaurant. But when it comes to exercise, okay, we do. That's how it works. No, you need to plan properly. You have a stipulated time. Exactly, I am going to do this time. Like this is how I need to do. So you plan yourself. If you don't plan, definitely it's not possible to like continue exercise. Actually, spending time for the exercise is very hard. And if you are not consistent with that, easily you will break that one. Then you will go back to switch back to square one. So it's very important to maintain exercise diary or you have a plan in your mind and stick to it. Okay, warm up. Why warm up is very important? Because it prepares your body for exercise, increases your blood circulation, increase the body and muscle temperature. Muscle, ligaments and tendons become more flexible so that like injury will be prevented. This will be around 5 to 10 minutes of low intensity activities. Low intensity activities, maybe it can be a walking or it can be a low intensity cycling or like just marching on the spot or like some kind of low intensity activity. There is a wrong concept saying that stretching is not considered as a warm up. You need to understand stretching is not considered as warm up. You need to warm up first before stretching, which means you need to do some other low intensity activity before you do the stretching. So what is low intensity activity? Already I tell you, it can be like a normal walk or marching on the spot or cycling without any resistance. Something you need to do before you do the stretching. Why? Because if you stretch without warm up, muscles are cold and more prone to muscle strain or tear. And stretch also gently, not to the point of pain. And hold it for 10 to 15 seconds and repeat it for 5 times. No jerky or bouncy movement. Some I will say they will like do at the end, like start and do this kind of jerky movements. Actually, this jerky movements, if you do, it will cause injury only. So once you go and to the end point, hold for 10 to 15 seconds, then come back. It's one straight movement. It's not a jumpy movement. Like if you do that bouncy movement, like definitely it will cause you injury. Okay, some of the stretching examples. Then cool down. Cool down after exercise is also important because gradually reducing the heart rate and body temperature. When you abruptly stop exercise, may cause you pooling of blood in the legs and it leads to fainting. Help remove the waste products from the body, reduce the risk of delayed onset of muscle soreness. We call it DOMS. Allow body to recover faster when you do the cool down exercise. Okay, what is the ACSM recommendations for effective weight loss? You have a combination energy expenditure as well as reduce the dietary intake. Effective exercise may differ according to gender and genetics. Yeah, you shouldn't lose hope in a short while because some person when they do exercise their weight may reduce very fast. And the other person like it may take a while, but it doesn't mean like it's not working. Actually, it will work, but every individual is different. You will get the benefit in a different timing. Your friend may get benefit in a different timing. So you need to understand that concept. You cannot just lose hope because the friend is reducing his weight and I couldn't do reduce my weight. So don't lose hope like that. So what is approximately 4.5 hours per week of moderate intensity exercise combined with reduced dietary intake will produce desirable results. So as I told you before, like 250 minutes per week, right? So that is how. Okay, moderate intensity exercises refers to the aerobic exercise kept at 50 to 70% of the maximum heart rate. Gradual progression is necessary for sedentary individuals. Intermittent exercise like 10 to 15 minute sessions that accumulate 30 to 40 minutes per day seems to be as effective as continuous exercise. I told you before, right? Like when you are desk bound, I cannot do exercise regularly. This is very important for the morning before you start your work. Do the 10 to 15 minutes session. Before lunch, I can do 10 to 15 minutes. That's good. Then like at the evening when you go, like, okay, maybe another 15 minutes. So it can combine 45 minutes of exercise per day. Actually, that is also equally effective as continuous exercise. So it's not necessary you must take like 1 hour session and you need to do exercise. So you can do the interval training also. Lifestyle activities is necessary to increase calorie expenditure. Some people, they say, I go and do exercise, then after that whole day I was sitting. Then this is also another problem. Actually, one of my trainer, like he is from UK, his name is John Buckley. He told, like, sitting is next smoking. Sitting is next smoking. Means that same effect of smoking we get during the sitting also. So that's the importance of like, you know, doing exercise, not just sitting. That's why in between your office work or whatever work, you just get up and move around and do some stretches, or just walk, like drink, like some activity you need to do in between the session. You cannot just from the morning to afternoon lunch, then again like until the evening. Then resistant exercise can increase fat-free mass and muscle strength. Of course, like just now we talk about this. Okay, 150 kilocalorie per day is 20 minutes of treadmill running. You need to spend this much. 15 minutes of stair climbing, 30 minutes of walking, about 3 kilometers, 20 minutes of swimming, or 6 sticks of chicken satay, 3 Oreo cookies, and 1/5 portion of chaat chow. So you can decide which way you want to go. For practical issues, okay, set aside a fixed time for exercise to fit into a daily schedule. If you don't have a fixed schedule, right, you will definitely miss. Partner will be better. Make exercise convenient. It's not like straining your body. Like I hear this this slogan saying that no pain, no gain without pain. No, you don't need to be like get pain during this. Yes, of course you need to, like, you know, work, do your work, but that doesn't mean you need to have a pain when doing exercise. If you miss exercise, make it for it. Find a goal to motivate you. Be prepared to overcome the initial fatigue. Drink water before, during, after exercise. Like, you hydrate yourself well. Wear suitable gear and proper footwear. How to increase your lifestyle activity? You can get down one bus stop early, park your car a bit far away, go out for lunch, use the stairs at least once a while, mop the floor, wash your car, take 15 minutes, walk after lunch. So little bit of activity, its combination will be a better one. So what is DOMS? You will expect some aching, stiffness of that exercise if you have pushed yourself adequately. That is common. Then it's actually second day you will get the pain and it will slow down in fifth day. So you can use ice, stretches, sports, massage. It's still okay. Progressive exercise duration or intensity by 10% per week. If you want to progress, use 10% formula. Just 10%. See how it goes. Again, 2 or 3 weeks you can leave. Again, you can start 10%. Don't just increase like 30%, 40% of your intensity. Okay, success story. You see here, they nearly lost the 30 kg of weight in 5 years. What is the common thing they have? 78% of the people eat breakfast every day. You see, if you skip breakfast, definitely it's not a healthy thing. And 75% weigh themselves at least once a week. And I think we do more than that. And 62% less than 10 hours of TV, now mobile phone. So if you watch more than 10 hours, your screen time plus your TV time, like, you know, if it is more than 10 hours, you are going to gain. And 90% of them, at least 1 hour, they do exercise per day. So that's why they lost weight. So if any of this one, if you think I'm doing wrongly, then you need to think about it. So if you have any injury, like, you know, you can give ice 4 times a day, compress the injured area, elevate if it is a swelling. But if it is a really dangerous one, don't treat by yourself. Like, you can go and see the registered medical practitioner to see whether it's there any injury or not. But if you do it correctly, when you do the warm up and cool down properly, so injuries should not be common. And right shoes, yes. If you have the neutral, you can see the one. Like, if you have a neutral foot, then you can use the cushioning one. If it is a slight mild pronation one, you can use a stability shoe. If you have a severe pronation, that is flat foot, they say, right? Then you should have a motion control shoe. So if you have like right shoe, it is right footwear. It's important to have the like without injury, you can continue your exercise. Okay, these are the resources. There are a lot of resources available. Singapore have, like, you know, so many things. You can go to the active gym also, like, you know, membership you can take. and active swim also. So there are a lot of things available. Please use it. Weight gain is not overnight. Do not expect to lose weight instantly also. We don't gain it. You think about it, how long it takes for you to reach that level. But when it's going to be a weight loss means then we are expecting it immediately. Okay, I want to lose in 1 month or 2 months. So it's going to take time, but it will be a permanent one. Okay, if exercise could be purchased in a pill, it would be a single most widely prescribed and beneficial medicine in the nation. Yes, so I really believe this one. Thank you for your kind attention. Now we can see questions.